we're going to be looking at graph characteristics. When we're looking at graph characteristics, there's several different things that we're looking for. We're looking for y-intercept. It's where it crosses the y-axis. We're going to be looking at the x-intercept. Crosses the x-axis. Something to note, the x-intercept is also known as zeros or roots when the equation is set equal to 0. We're going to be looking at relative mins, which is in the neighborhood. Same thing with the max there. And then we also have absolute mins, maxes. These two things here are also called extrema. Just depending on what you're looking at, they kind of go interchangeably. Whether you're talking about a relative or an absolute, extrema is just the highs and lows and what you're looking for with your graph. I have an example here. Looking at this, this is a x to the 4th graph. With that being said, this point here and this point here are my roots. So we can see here that my root is located at positive negative 2. These 2 points here, these would be absolute mins. And the reason why is because they're the lowest point, absolute lowest point on this graph. They happen to be at the same y value. This is -1, -9, and this point here is at 1, -9. So these points together are the absolute mins. This point here, this is at 0, -8. Sorry. This one here is going to be a relative max, because if you notice in this area, that is the maximum because we've got a high and low. It gives us like an up and a down, kind of like a roller coaster. You have certain hills, some of them are bigger than others. But anyway, that's not an absolute because obviously this graph keeps going on forever and ever. The other thing that we need to talk about is where's the graph increasing or decreasing? As you can see, from here to here, my graph is going down. So this is decreasing. From here to here, it's increasing. Here to here is decreasing. Here to here is increasing. Okay, it's a lot of information, I know. So decreasing is going to be from negative infinity to that -1, and from 0 to -1. When we're doing our interval notation, this is just using, sorry for the commotion, you're just using the x values, so there's no y values involved. The increasing interval is from -1 to 0 and from 1 to infinity. Notice on all of these I've used parentheses just because at those values, they're neither increasing or decreasing. They're technically, the slope of those points is at 0, so they can't be decreasing or increasing, so that's why we have parentheses here. Unless you're using like a piecewise function, then it could change a little bit. Also, if you ever have infinity, whether it's the negative or the positive, you will always have a parenthesis as well. So these are different graph characteristics. So this will kind of change a little bit depending on your graph. So just look at those vocab words and figure out what you got.